Hello and welcome back to this Grade Academy lesson on coordinate geometry, the line. In this lesson, we're going to cover parallel and perpendicular lines, and we're also going to cover how you go about drawing lines or graphing lines. Okay, so without further ado, we will start into this. Parallel and perpendicular lines. Some points to note. Parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines have slope that can be got by using the formula. Now, there's a little trick I'll talk about in a moment. They've got a similar but a different slope. Okay, the slope is m1 times m2. So in other words, the slope of the first line times the slope of the second line will be equal to -1. Apologies about the spelling mistake there, guys. Now, there's also a little trick. So if the slope of the first line will just say, for example, is 3/4, the slope of the perpendicular line, you get your fraction, you flip it upside down, and you change the sign. So if it's a positive, it goes to minus. 3/4 becomes 4/3. If you have the slope of a line that is not a fraction, for example, the slope is 2, well, you can make that into a fraction very easy by saying it's 2/1. So then flip it upside down, 1/2, and change the sign, so it becomes minus. So if the slope of a line is 2, the perpendicular line has -1/2. Other point here, a positive value for slope looks like that, and a negative one like that. Okay, now if we are given a question like this, okay, a couple of steps in this one now, guys, so we'll just go through it. We are using the formula from the previous video that we've touched on, and reminder again, all your formulae are in your log tables. Okay, the points are given here as f and g. 7 minus 3 and g is -1, 5 are on a line L. That might not look like L, but that's L. The line has a midpoint M. Find the equation of the line that passes through M and is perpendicular to this line here. Okay, so there's a lot going on there, guys. We have 2 points here. The line has a midpoint M. So straight away, we're going to be able to use the midpoint formula and work out M. Then it says, find the equation of the line that passes through M. So it passes through, so there's a line here. This might not be graphically correct, guys, but it passes through the point M, which we now are going to know, and is perpendicular to this line here. Okay, well, if we get the slope of that line, work out the perpendicular slope of it, we will know M, the slope of this line. And the question asks us to find the equation. So that means, you know, the y minus y1 formula. So what do we need to know for that formula? We need to know a point and a slope. Well, we will have the point here and the slope. Okay, so we'll just go through a couple of steps. Step 1, find the midpoint. Step 2, find the slope of this line here. Step 3, get the perpendicular slope. You know the little trick I showed you, flip it upside down, change the sign. And then step 4, find the equation of the line. So y minus y1. Okay, a good bit there now, guys. So as I said, we'll go through it step by step using each of the formula. Okay, step 1. Here we go, and we're going to use the midpoint formula. So again, I've listed the points x1, y1 and x2, y2. Midpoint formula, and I'm subbing in. So x1 plus x2, and on the other side, y1, y2. This is where they're coming from. So that's going to give us 7 take 1 is 6/2, and the y coordinate is -3/5. That's 5. Sorry, that's -3 plus 5 is 2. So 2/2. So it gives us the midpoint 3, 1. Just write that in there. That's the M. Now, step 2, we needed to find the slope of this line with the equation and then the perpendicular slope. So here's our equation of a line. We're going to use y equals mx plus c, and m is what we're looking for, the slope. Okay, so I'm going to move my x coordinate and my -10 across the equal sign. So I get -5y is equal to -3x plus 10, And then I just want y, so I'm going to have to divide everything by minus 5. That's going to give me y is equal to minus 3 over minus 5x plus 10 over minus 5. So working that out there, we get y is equal to 3/5 x minus 2. And remember, that there is my slope. So m is equal to 3 over 5. Now, how do we get the perpendicular slope of that? Flip it upside down, 5 over 3, and change the sign. So minus 5 over 3. For the purposes of an exam, I'm showing you here using the formula, and we get the same slope. Minus 5 over 3. Now, just to recap there a little bit, just tab back the screen for a second. What did the question ask us to do? It asked us to find the equation of the line. We need to know y minus y1. So we need to know a point, which was m, which we have done, and the perpendicular slope, which we have now done. Okay. So now let's go find, using the y minus y1, let's find the equation of the line. We're given the point here, the slope, minus 5 over 3, and the point, 3, 1, x1, y1. Subbing in, y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Okay, multiply across by 3 to get rid of the fraction. So we're going to get, I multiplied across by minus 3 even, so that's minus 3 times y minus 1. That's going to give us minus 3y plus 3 on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, it's 5 times what's in the bracket, so 5x minus 15. And a bit of algebra there, bringing things to one side and numbers to the other side. So we're going to get minus 5x minus 3y is equal to minus 18. And again, guys, I just got rid of all the minus signs there. So 5x plus 3y is equal to 18. Okay, and with that, guys, we're going straight on to the next question. Now, about drawing lines or graphing lines. So, make myself a little bit smaller there. Remember when the line crosses the x-axis, y is equal to 0. And where it crosses the y-axis, x is equal to 0. Okay, here's a question. Find the points that the line minus 3x plus 5y equals 0 crosses the x-axis and the y-axis, and then draw it. So basically what you do, guys, is what's in the question there, where it I meant at the top of the screen, where it crosses the x-axis, you say y is equal to 0, sub that in, and you'll find an x value. And then where it crosses the x-axis, you sub in y is equal to 0. Sorry, the other way around, then you do it the other way around. I got jumbled there, guys. Sorry. Right. So we started off by saying where it cuts the x-axis. I think that's the one that I explained. Where it cuts the x-axis, y is equal to 0. So we have our equation here. And what we're going to do is we're going to sub in y is equal to 0. So you can see that happens there. Minus 3x plus 5 times 0 is equal to 0. So that becomes minus 3x plus 0 equals 0. So just minus 3x equals to 0. So in that case, x is equal to 0. What does that mean? It means the point xy is 0, 0. Now we can do the same then for where it cuts the y-axis at x equals to 0. So we're going to let x equals to 0. You see, guys, I'll just skim down through that. We get the point 0, 0 again, effectively. Over to the diagram here then. So we've got 2 points and they're both 0, 0. So how do we draw a line with that? We can't. Okay? So we're going to have to do something a little bit different. And this is the reason I picked this example, because just in case you ever saw something like that. Okay? So I'm going to tab on to the next slide and you're going to see how I get around this. xy is equal to 0, 0. So we've got 2 points and they're both 0, 0. So we don't really know what to do. So we're going to try a different value. As you can see on the last line there, we're going to try the value x equals to 1. this time. When x is equal to 1, we're going to sub on this in again. 3x plus 5y, there's a minus 3x plus 5y equals 0. So that's minus 3 times 1 plus 5y equals 0. What does that give me? It gives me 5 minus 3 is equal to minus 5, or 5y equals 3, as I've written there. Just swap them over the equal sign. And that gives you y is equal to 3/5. So now we've got a point. We've got the point x, y coordinate when x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 3/5. So if you did your x, y axis out, you could go over to x equals to 1 and you could go up to wherever y was equal to 3/5, and that's going to be one of your points. Now you can use this and the point 0, 0 if you like. I've done this on the graph with red pen. As you can see, they are nearly too close to each other to get an accurate drawing of a line, so we'll pick a different point again. I'll just flip back there just so you see what I'm talking about. Minus 1 3/5, again, just get me out of the way there. 1 3/5 is this point here. Just grab a pen there. It's that point there. So it's almost too difficult to know where exactly to get an accurate drawing. So I'm going to pick a different point. Okay, that's my following the blue arrow up here. So I'm just going to pick a different point at x equals, for example, minus 4. Again, subbing in, so for x is equal to minus 4, I could have picked a y value, guys. It didn't matter. So subbing in then, x equals minus 4. That's going to give us 12 plus 5y equals to 0. 5y equals to minus 12. Y is equal to minus 12/5. So we now have a new point here, our xy coordinate, minus 4 minus 12/5. Minus 12/5, guys, well, if it was minus 10/5, it would be minus 2. So basically, this is minus 2.5 if you do that out in your calculator there. Okay, and just flicking back so to our graph here on the previous page, previous slide, minus 4 over here, and I went down there. Okay, so I got my two lines and my 2 points, I should say, and I joined them up then there. And it gave me a more accurate reflection of this. The point that I'm trying to get at over here in the text is that more often than not, you can just sub in where it crosses the x-axis, y equals to 0, and then you can do the same for when it crosses the y-axis, sub in x equals 0. Get 2 points and draw your line. I just showed you this example here, guys, just in case you had a problem like this with a question and you weren't exactly sure what to do. Okay. So that's the end of this video here, guys. It's the second video there on the line. So thank you for watching this Grade Academy lesson. And until next time, happy learning.